So what if you could take every ounce of negativity, all that doubt people throw your way, and actually turn it into fuel? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down a story that shows you exactly how to do that, how to transform criticism into your single greatest motivator.
I mean, really think about it for a second. You've got this one huge idea, right? It makes your heart race with excitement, but when you tell people, they just get kind of weird and quiet. If you know that feeling, then you are going to totally get what our main character, Samantha, was up against.
All right, let's dive in. Section 1, A Dream of Dance. Our story starts with Samantha, and for her, the world pretty much revolved around one single, all-consuming passion.
And look, this wasn't just some after-school hobby. For Samantha, this was her identity. Every single day she was working, practicing, perfecting her craft. Dancing wasn't just something she did, it's who she was. And that little detail is absolutely crucial for understanding what happens next. Which brings us to Section 2, the Wall of Doubt. Because, as anyone who's ever had a big dream knows, that kind of passion, it often attracts some pretty intense resistance. And for Samantha, that resistance showed up as this massive, crushing wall of negativity.
I mean, just try to imagine pouring your entire soul into something, day in and day out, only to be met with this chorus of disbelief. Instead of support, the people all around her were just serving up doubt and negativity.
And just listen to the words they use. This isn't gentle concern, this is a final judgment. They literally called her dream impossible and told her to be more practical. That's the kind of language that's designed to just shut a dream down cold.
And here's what makes it so brutal. This wasn't coming from some random trolls online. No, this was from her classmates. And even worse, from her own friends. The very people who were supposed to be her biggest cheerleaders were the ones laying the bricks in that wall of doubt.
So, moving to Section 3, Fuel for the Fire. What do you do when the world is basically telling you to quit? Well, this is the turning point. This is where one single choice changes everything for Samantha.
She had a choice to make, right? Either let their negativity become her truth, or just refuse. And that's what she did. She refused. Instead of absorbing all that doubt, she basically put up a shield and made a conscious decision to just reject their version of her story.
It's this amazing three-step process, like a kind of mental alchemy. First, she didn't pretend the negativity wasn't there. She acknowledged it. She saw it. Second, and this is the key part, she refused to let it inside. She refused to let it define her. And third, she didn't just block it. She channeled it. She took all that energy and pointed it right back into her work.
And that brings us to the core concept here. Using negativity is fuel. It's the act of taking something that's supposed to hold you back and turning it into the very thing that pushes you forward. So now, every single dismissive laugh just became the beat for one more hour of practice. Every doubtful comment became the motivation to perfect one more move.
Okay, Section 4, the breakthrough. So what happens when you decide to turn poison into fuel? Well, you get powerful. You accelerate. And for Samantha, the results of all that resilience were about to become completely undeniable.
And boy, did it pay off. All of that channeled frustration, all that hard work, it ended in a massive victory. She landed a spot in a super prestigious dance school. This wasn't just a win for her career. It was proof that her whole strategy, her mindset, actually worked.
When you look at her journey laid out like this, you can see the whole arc so clearly. A dream is born, it hits that wall of doubt, but look at that turning point. That moment where she decides to use negativity as fuel isn't just another step. It's the engine that drives her straight from doubt to breakthrough, and finally to becoming a successful professional dancer. But here's a really interesting twist. Getting into the school didn't suddenly silence all the haters. Oh no, they were still there. But the real change wasn't on the outside, it was on the inside. Her perspective had completely shifted. She finally saw their negativity wasn't really about her potential at all, but was just a reflection of their own limits and their own insecurities.
So, that brings us to our final section, your resilience playbook. What can we all take away from Samantha's journey? Her story gives us a really clear playbook for anyone out there facing their own wall of doubt. Let's break it down.
It really just boils down to two completely different mindsets. The haters' focus is always pointed outward. They're projecting their own unhappiness onto other people. But the achievers' focus, that's all inward. They're not listening to all the noise outside, they are locked in on their own goals, and they're powered by their own self-belief.
So here are the big lessons to take with you. First, not everyone is going to support your dreams, and you have to be okay with that.
What's truly important is that you believe in yourself. Just stay laser-focused on your goals, rise above all that noise, and absolutely refuse to let anyone's doubt distract you from your path to greatness.
So I'll leave you with this question. What hate in your life right now is just sitting there, waiting to be turned into fuel? What piece of negativity can you use to perform your own mental alchemy and transform your biggest wall into your personal runway?